Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to my video. So today is actually day 2 of the LA Fit Expo. I went yesterday. I didn't vlog anything because I feel like expo footage is very just like all over the place. And I was only there for like a few hours, and anyone who came up and said hi to me, like, I love you guys so much. I met so many amazing people just like walking around, and like every time I just meet people that say that I've inspired them or something like that, like it's just like literally so heartwarming. Like, you know, a lot of times in YouTube and like things like this, like I don't really think of that. Like I do think of that all the time, but sometimes I kind of forget that, like, you know, I have inspired people, and that's why I do this, you know what I mean? Like that's just really cool, like really cool. And some of you guys like came up to me and they're like, I've been following you forever since your first bikini prep, things like that. So that's super cool. And I love like hearing that you guys are starting YouTube channels and that you're like hearing about your goals and your fitness journey and things like that. It's just like really freaking awesome that like the internet can connect me to so many amazing people, and I just always want to thank you guys for your support regardless of what I'm doing and things like that. So my last video, I told you guys I'm starting a cut. Yes, I'm definitely gonna get a lift in. I'm not really sure where or with who. Right now it's noon. I've been fasting, not on purpose. I just woke up at 9, I had coffee, and I don't really get hungry in the mornings a lot. I kind of just like listen to my body sometimes. A lot of times I'll intermittent fast because that's what works for me. And yeah. All right, breakfast part 1 is egg whites with a slice of turkey bacon, which I haven't had in forever. And this just has spinach, and I like putting romaine lettuce in it. It's really weird, but it gives it like a little crunch. Part 2 is oatmeal with blueberries and some peanut butter on top. And the macros for this meal, I always input my, I use creamer in my coffee because I love myself and I will always put creamer in my coffee. So with the creamer, it comes out to 439 calories, 38 carbs, 18 fat, and 38 protein. So what I do to hit my macros, I find it really hard if I don't plan ahead of time and like kind of know what I need to have at each meal to hit my macros. So I kind of plan, okay, I'll probably have like 4-ish meals today. So I need to have like those, like I need to have like 38 carbs, 16 fat, and like 38 protein in like each meal to hit my macros, like roughly estimate. And then like, you know, obviously I have it a little bit lower or under, and then in my other meals I can just compensate. So I always suggest know how many macros you need in like each meal, and like how many meals a day you typically have, and that makes hitting your macros so much easier, I promise. Okay friends, going to collab with Layne at Barbell. We're probably gonna do deadlifts, which I know I show you guys the legs all the time, but I'm just gonna bring like a Cliff Builder bar with me because I haven't eaten my next meal yet. I'm also gonna bring some BCAAs, and I might chug some pre-workout right now. So let's fucking do this, guys.
Would you want to go like do some cardio and go on a run? I'm like,
nope.
I'll watch you do it. You know. And,
we're at Barbell. Layne, we're gonna do deadlifts.
You see this headband on?
Oh.
This means shit's about to get serious.
And
by serious means I'm coming back from an injury. It's my first deadlift day, so it might be like 225. But it'll be the most serious fucking 225 you've ever seen in your life.
Better than mine.
What's up, guys? So I'm going to do a commentary over this workout footage because Layne Norton helped me out a lot with my deadlifts, and I was really hoping that he would. So I'm so appreciative. First of all, the fact that I got to deadlift with him, like, come on, guys. Like, someone I've looked up to for years in this fitness industry. He really like changed my life with flexible dieting, to be honest. Like, he was the one that I found that kind of like changed the game for me. But the fact that I got to work out with him, I was like super humbled, super excited. And the fact that he also like took the time to like coach me through my deadlifts to make me better was just like really cool. And he's just an awesome guy. So obviously subscribe to his channel, but I want you guys to hear what he was telling me in this next clip.
Yep. But keep it right next to your shin. Yes. Okay. A little better, yeah.
So one of my main problems was that I was not engaging my lats and I wasn't keeping it super close to my shins as well. And I could kind of feel that, like, once he pointed it out, I felt like the bar was kind of like sliding away from my shins, which obviously you don't want. You want to keep it as close to your shins as possible. And like, I know that in my mind, but sometimes I just don't do it or like really realize it. And another thing that I was not doing was really engaging my lats and kind of like overextending at the top, which you don't want to do either. So he kind of gave me this tip. Apparently we are built very similarly. I have really, really long limbs, which makes squatting really, really hard. Conventional deadlift, super awkward. And yeah, so it basically just feels like you have a lot longer to like pick up off the ground, or like a lot longer down to go into your squats. And I think my issue was that I kind of like try to rush it, and he gave me the tip to try and kind of like when I'm setting up, like kind of like straighten out my legs and then bend down, engage my lats, and the second it hits my shins to lift up. And so that's what I was doing, and it helped a lot better. I don't know why, it felt a lot smoother, and it felt like I was actually doing everything properly, tightening my core, engaging my lats, and then the second they touch my shins, pull up. So if you can see here, he resets every single time. He engages his core, he engages his lats, and the second it hits his shins, he just flies up basically. So that helped so much, and now like my deadlift game is changed for life. So let's move on to the booty exercises.
Okay, what? No, you're good. We just finished deadlifts. Layne helped me a lot with my form, which is awesome. Basically, I just need to focus on breathing and then tightening my core a little bit more, and then just engaging my lats, which is what I was not doing, and that helped a lot. So hopefully they'll get better. It's very appreciative. And then now we're taking the glute workout. Yes, that means I'm going to be able to squat like 700 soon.
That's right, yeah. Team hashtag long femur, team hashtag smartass.
Yes.
Hashtag team smartass.
All the hashtags.
She has so much energy, it's not okay.
Hey, I'll be the upper, you be the down.
Hey guys, just finished a deadlift and glute workout with Brittany Lesser at Layne here. So, oh, hang on, cut.
Hold on.
Okay, I'll cut it.
Paul looked at me like so disappointed, just like, God damn it, Layne. Just finished a glute workout and deadlift workout with Brittany Lesser of Two Evils.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul Ravella, for that. And
Layne Norton, obviously.
obviously.
You all know.
Don't need an introduction, stop it. Britt, one of the things I really liked about your channel was how you talked about your journey into fitness and whatnot. And can you just give us, most girls that I have talked to when they get into dieting, it just kind of, the de facto is to fall into, it'll start eliminating everything.
Yeah.
So how did you find flexible dieting, and why is that something you decided to stick with compared to what else was out there?
So funny, I actually found it because of you. I found your YouTube videos. I was in the clean eating only mindset, and I was like psycho, let's just say. And I was just, my life was just kind of shitty, I guess you can say. I was just like so focused on that, and that was my life. It's just eating clean and just focusing on my body and my nutrition, everything. And I just didn't have a life outside of that. And then I found
Did you
Layne.
find it was like kind of consuming?
Very.
Like almost all your thoughts?
All my thoughts.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. It was just very, it was just shitty. So I came across Layne and I found his flexible dieting stuff, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, why didn't I try this? So I tried it and it worked, and I did my first bikini prep with Will, flexible dieting, and I knew going into my prep that I had to do it flexible dieting because why not? And yeah, it changed my life. I was way more lenient. Like, my life was just so much better in fitness. I always say this, but fitness started to enhance my life instead of consume my life, and that's what I always try to preach now to people is I feel like they just let it consume them when it should really enhance your life.
Yeah, and that was not a softball. I actually did not know that. So that's cool to find out that, you reach people and it helps, make their lives better. And what I was telling people on the inside was people think I promote flexible dieting because it's easier or because, you can have Skittles while we flexible diet or Pop-Tarts or whatever. And the reality is I found flexible dieting through sheer force of mass effect on clients and myself, in that I just couldn't sustain clean eating. Like, I would try to do it, and what would happen is I would end up binging, or I would just totally go off, like not track.
Yeah.
End up gaining more body fat, and at the end of the day, when I allowed myself some more flexibility, I was able to be more consistent, and I actually looked better, performed better.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things I tell people is, people have this impression of flexible dieters, and yes, some flexible dieters go crazy with it, but I would wager to say a lot of flexible dieters eat less junk food than clean eaters, because by allowing yourself some flexibility, when you have that rigid control, and this has actually been shown in scientific studies, you tend to get in the all or nothing mindset, where it's, if you just have a bite of candy or a bite of pizza or whatever is not on the plan, even like people who didn't have fruit on their plan, if they would have a bite of fruit, it would cause them, it would like trigger a binge.
Yeah.
And so, like, allowing yourself that flexibility, if you can be more consistent. So I do flexible dieting because I feel like you make me more jacked. You know, so it wasn't like some noble, like, humanitarian cause. It was just a simple, selfish, I want to be better cause.
Yeah, totally.
So it's interesting you found it that way. And now, is it something where you track year round, or do you do like where you kind of intuitive eat, you eyeball those sorts of things? How do you implement it?
Well, I actually feel better when I track. I did try to do like intuitive eating, and I did for a while, for a few months, because I've been tracking for so long. I feel like I pretty much know. But actually, with me, when I don't track, I tend to undereat a lot. So that's like my downfall. I know it's fair. I don't know why. I just tend to undereat. So I do like to track, but if anything, I'll just be more flexible with it and not like if I'm on prep, I like zero it out. And I'm like,
totally.
I'm super strict with it. But yeah, I'm kind of like a loose.
Yeah, once you get good at it, like my guess is you can travel and you can eyeball stuff, and you're not gaining or losing 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Same thing with me. Like, if I travel, a lot of times I'll come back leaner.
Yeah.
Because some of the skills you can give yourselves is, if you're traveling, if your goal is to minimize fat gain or you're trying to lose fat, well, then overestimate by 10% of what you think is in something.
Right.
And then if your goal is muscle gain, maybe you underestimate.
Yeah.
Right. So you can tweak it to work for you and make it work. So that's what I love about flexible dieting, is that it is flexible.
Yes, exactly.
So one of the things I really like about your channel is not just the good content, but the fact that you kind of just tell it how it is, even if it's abrasive, even if some people may not like it, because I feel that's kind of like how I do it, and I've gotten a lot of crap for that. People said, oh, you're a PhD, you shouldn't behave this way, and my thought is, well, fucking cable TV, you can change the channel. So like, how did you, because a lot of people aren't comfortable being themselves, so I guess my question is, like, do you think about that? Is that something that, like, it took you a while to get comfortable with, or have you always been like that?
I mean, I've kind of always been really honest. I'm just...
Honest, she calls it.
I call it honest, yeah. Well, I mean, it's true. If someone asks me a question, I'm going to tell you exactly like what I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to beat around the bush or lie to you. I just can't do that. I'm just very, very open and blunt with how I think. I just say what I think.
You're savage. You're savage.
Well, I try to do it in a nice way, you know, just so people don't like hate me too much. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather tell the truth and like let people know, even if it's something bad and I might get hate from it. I feel like I tend to get more good comments from it, and people are constantly thanking me. Like some of the videos that I put up, that I was like, oh god, I'm totally gonna get a lot of hate from this. I had so many people and they're like, thank you so much, like that's why I watch you, and that's like I appreciate that so much, because in the fitness industry a lot of it, like there's a lot of lies and a lot of stuff that, and I don't like that. I can't lie.
No days off.
Yeah.
Get supposed. No, I think that's great, because I always say, you know, be who you are. My good friend Paul, he always tries to get me to, you know, Layne, you need to ignore it. You need to ignore it. I'm like, well, why? If I don't like something, I shouldn't act like I fucking like it.
Yeah.
You know? So, now I guess that doesn't mean you have to beat somebody over the head with it. But that's something I can appreciate. And but for me, that took me a long time to get comfortable with that, because I worried so much about what people thought of me. You know?
Yeah, I do too, but...
Yeah, well, that's great that you're honest about that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell people, like, I have an ego, I worry about what people think about me, I worry about my reputation, all that sort of stuff, but I don't worry about it enough to where I won't give you my honest opinion.
Exactly,
So
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's honest. So check her out, Brittany Lesser.
Check him out.
Check me out.
Layne Norton.
Layne Norton, a.k.a. Bio Layne.
Yeah.
Brittany the Lesser of Two Evils. And thanks for watching our mashup.
Yes.